Hello, everybody. Once again, back with another cast, another fight between myself as the Axis. I'm on the right here in blue. I'm playing as the Panzer Grenadier GrossDeutschland. And I'm playing on the left, Wergo, who's playing as the 3rd Armoured Spearhead, the US division. He's playing in red. So just kicking off, looking at the overall map. There's a hell of a lot of light vehicles on the field. Wergo's not actually deployed any armor whatsoever by the looks of things. He's just gone for bazookas, engineers, lots of mortars. Um, these are actually the M3A1 half tracks as well, with the 50 cals on the top. Because of the 50 cals, obviously they are effective against planes now. Since the buff and the Burning Baltics DLC, they're really effective against planes. They can take on other half tracks. They'll be able to destroy my German half tracks. So pretty good choice now. The 50 cals. Bit awkward if they can start engaging tanks and things when you don't want them to. So if he manages to micro it well, then it could work out for him. But we're just kicking off now. Looks like he's rushed an MG to this flag. I did the same. I put a Flammenwerfer there just because it's, you know, in one of the bikes, the little Wallace and Gromit bikes, just to get there nice and quick. Flammenwerfer should make short work of that thing from up close there. He may not have known the Flammenwerfer was in there because it's around the corner, so and it wouldn't have shown itself until it actually attacked. So nice kill straight off the bat there. That's one MG down. Looking at the centre, he's deployed a lot more than I have into this middle part, and they're all just flamethrower squads. So he's got 5 flamethrowers going into this forest, whereas I have just 2 groups of these Sturmgruppe. These are really solid units. I really like them. Only 8 men, but they have 8 MP44s and a Panzerfaust. So they're going to trade it well, pretty well, but against this many flamethrowers in a forest, it's going to be a struggle. Really, what I needed to do here, I think, was to keep these closer together. Obviously, I wasn't expecting that many flamethrowers, but I needed to keep them as one sort of death pool. And I'm pretty sure this group is going to go down here to 3 more groups of flamethrower. On south, a similar sort of story, although not as many flamethrowers. Lots of these armoured rifles, or armed rifles. They have the bazookas, and he's got more bazookas back here. That's the thing with this 3rd Armoured Spearhead division. So many of the infantry squads have bazookas, so they're really a big threat when they get up close, what, 250 meters of your armor. So it's definitely something to watch out for. Back on the north, he's got a mortar now firing on my Pak 41 Gerlich, which has exposed itself. I don't know how it exposed itself actually. Maybe taking out this this 50 cal Jeep. It's probably not a good trade, but I like this unit. I think it's pretty good. It's not cheap. 75 points a pop, but 245mm a pen, 60% accuracy, 1000 meter range, not bad. So I think I've got this in a good position. It's going to be able to watch over pretty much anything coming down this road. And I've got the flamethrower and the Sturmgruppe here just to hold, make sure no infantry can flank it. So interesting to see if that survives for this mortar barrage. That will be able to get some good value. But these mortars, the American ones, these are unbelievable. They're so strong. Only 40 points, 27 rounds per minute fire rate, and 3 damage per shot. That's an unbelievable fire rate. You compare that. I don't know if I've got any mortars of my own, but I think the standard German mortar has about 17 rounds a minute fire rate. So that's a big upgrade on that. So definitely something I'm gonna have to deal with if I can. So it looks like he's just bombing forward these Jeeps with the 50 cals in them. Obviously I don't know that they have 50 cals in them at the time, and I did spot this obviously from my units up here. So I'm in a tricky spot here. 13 to 11. My bomber just went in. think to try and help out. I'm not sure where it went actually. But it's going to be a challenge to use my fighters effectively in this. It doesn't look like he's got any AA. Oh, he's bringing some now. Bringing a Bofors on. But combination of the Bofors and all these 50 cals, they're going to make it really, really tough to utilise the bombing strikes because fighters have to come in quite low. The 50 cals can start peppering them, and it does make life a bit difficult. So he's got a nice position here on this flag, and he's currently winning. I do have a nice setup on this hill. I've got an MG, a Gorilla. I do actually have this really interesting unit, 3 15mm HE machine gun, I suppose it is, the AA one. Going to be effective if he does bring any planes. I don't know how good they are against infantry, but we shall have to wait and see. I've now got quite a nice little crossfire in this northern area, the Stug and the Panzer here as well, so I think if he tries to reinforce this area with anything else, I should be able to deal with it relatively easy. He's got more mortars here. Looks like he's just happy to hold this town, but he's pushed quite aggressively down this south side. With the support of those mortars, this Stormtrooper, probably these Panzergren's is going to lose out. There's a lot of units to deal with here. On Pack 43 Gerlich, which I have in these trees. Nice little sight line down this road, but I guess this is the trouble with something when it's 1,000-meter range. You do allow units to get up close, and now they can use their MGs, which have 750-meter range, and they're just going to suppress this thing, make it really, really difficult to get any shots off. So that's going to go down. Just another 75 points gone. So in a bit of a rough spot here. He's really, really investing heavily down the centre, and it was a double tick. It was on a double tick for a minute, but now back down to 14 to 10, and he's trying to push quite aggressively. I do have some units kind of in reserve here. I wasn't really sure where to deploy them. I think I wanted to get them across here, but when I saw all these M4s bombing down the road, I knew they were just going to get absolutely chewed up, so I had to be careful. As I say, this Storm group are now going down on the south. Just too much down here really to deal with. Really interesting use of smoke up here on the north side from my opponent. I did push up this Panzer, try and get it up onto this hill. I wanted to see if I could just see what was in these buildings. Obviously I didn't want to risk moving it too close in case there was a bazooka in there. But by putting that smoke down, it's just going to delay me being able to find out what's in there. I've even brought a recon vehicle up just to try and help me spot it, because this isn't good to be losing this flag, and he's done well here. I think he probably knew that he wasn't going to hold this forever, but it's just going to be nice to start winding down the clock a little bit for him. I think it was, yeah, I did smoke off this area just to try and ensure these tanks weren't going to absolutely annihilate my MG. But I am getting absolutely devastated down here by the looks of things. Oh, nice shot there from our Pack 40. That's the thing about this map, it does seem a little bit unfair. I feel like I definitely had the advantage, you know, across this middle line. You've got these a lot of hills here, which make it pretty, not easy, but give you an advantage to hold this open ground, because you can have your packs and your MGs just shooting down. But it's very well played from my opponent here, using a really good combination of M4s, M8s, mortars, flamethrowers, bazookas, making it really, really tough to find an answer at the minute. I do have a Panther 8 coming in. That's going to go sit in this light forest here. I'm going to watch down this road and be able to shoot on anything down there. Probably going to make light work of these vehicles if they stay exposed. I'm just smoking it off now, just to try and delay any more damage to my infantry. Because right now I just need to hold. I am back down to a double tick, so I am losing the fight at this point, and it is pretty rough going. I think I was pretty light on infantry here as well. At this point we are just coming into phase B, we're about to go into phase B, so I've pretty much exhausted my supply of infantry. So I didn't really have any answer to the units that were down here, bar these couple of flamethrowers, which I'm now going to deploy on. There's one MG down, but that wasn't really the main threat. It was just knowing what was in here, so we will find out whether I deal with him shortly. These mortars now starting to go for this pack 40, pinning down, making sure that can't fire. There you go. So the German mortars do have 3,000 meter range, but a lot slower fire rate. And if you're able to use these things effectively, these 40-point mortars, which my opponent most certainly is, it can really, really be absolutely devastating. He's got 3 mortars in this centre, both is here, and he's going for a rush now on this south side. Gonna try and take this southern flag. So he's very aggressive. He's playing on Vanguard as well, and you can see here these 50 cal half tracks engaging my just an MG42 in there, and so I can't really shoot back. It's a good strategy. This, you know, these are. Well, I mean, how much are these things? 15 points, so they're not expensive. It's the same as a flamethrower, and they can hold flags like a flamethrower would. Then they don't count as recon vehicles or anything. So I mean, he's pushed them through maybe a little bit too far. If he wanted to hold this flag, which he certainly could have. And look at this, lots of bazookas, lots of M8s. He's looking to get set up on this hill now for the long run. So I'm in a tough spot. I have managed to recapture this northern side. Looks like the flamethrowers done the job. I think once they spotted they were just MGs, the Panzer 38, and this Stug up on the hill as well. Gonna make light work of them, but it's kept me losing points, which is the important thing for my opponent. That's what's going on down here, but a lot of the armour that was here has been cleared up. I assume this Panther has done the job. Lots of smoke now. There isn't really going to be anything that can take out the Panther straight off the bat, or that was on the field already. So we've only really seen a few M401s, no jumbos on the field as of yet. But my opponent is making it difficult. He's changing up where he's attacking as well, quite a lot. Obviously he went for a push on the north, held the flag for a bit, I've recaptured it, and now he's diverting his attention to the south. Just making it really, really difficult for me. Whilst he has definitely got the advantage in this early stage, I think I've traded relatively well, mainly because of what's happened down in this middle area. All these tanks going down and these M8s, they're not cheap, so that's going to be an advantage. We've got a push going on down here in the middle here. I smoked this off with my mortar, sending in the Stormgrouper and a Panzer to help. He's only got a couple of units of armed rifles and a couple of 50 cal half tracks in there. I smoked it off just in case there was going to be any guns or anything down the road that were going to be able to take out the transports. But this is just going to allow me to start the push. These Stormgrouper are going to do a good job in these towns. They don't have any grenades, don't have any flamethrowers, but those MP44s are really going to tear up infantry. They should trade pretty well against armed rifles. They do Thompsons, but I'm confident that they should do the job. Got a Pioneer coming in here as well to buff it up. This does have a 20mm flat cannon on it as well. Obviously I can't really support too much at this point because I'm most definitely in range of these bazookas. So the smoke's still going on. So more Stern Pioneers coming as well. I think these are probably maybe a better choice for pushing towns, to be honest. That's why I only brought the one unit of Stormgrouper. They're going to start forcing these guys to get out, and the flamethrowers are really going to do the work. 3 Veteran C as well, Pioneer Fuhrer nearby, absolutely chewing up the rifles. Both of them go down, and with them out of the picture, this Panzer IV just firing freely. This Panzer 43 Gerlich is doing the work here, taking out one or two M4s. But it is going to trade. I think it did okay. It got a few transport snipes, took out a couple of tanks. I think that was relatively effective. Flamethrower taking out the half track in the middle here. I've brought it back down to a 13 to 11, so I am still losing at this point, but you know, looking a little bit better. Going to start a push of my own now on this south side. Going to be really, really difficult though. He's got so many half tracks. They're going to chew up infantry. Bazooka's here to, and he's got visual on this Stug now with this one, so he knows that's there if he's seen it. So it's going to be tough. More Stern Pioneers. I think they're going to try and start retaking this this forest. So I'm kind of doing what he's doing to me in a way. By attacking different areas, I'm forcing his attention away from where he wants it to be. Have a relatively nice hold here. This Panzer IV, you should be able to see what's coming down this this road. Maybe it could have pushed up a little bit further to about this spot. That probably would have been ideal, because right now it's just shooting on the armoured rifles when really I wanted it to be taking out these half tracks, which it doesn't seem to be doing. So the engagement on the south has started. This Panzer 38T getting a nice driver knockout on this M8 Scott, and I think it's just literally just the fire rate that's doing the job here. You would think one of these M8 Scotts would be able to take this thing down, but it's suppressing it really well. Doesn't look like these half tracks have been able to look at the Sturmgruppe here. Maybe he's not noticed this push of mine going on in the south as of yet. They're not really going to be too effective against a Panzer 38, these the 50 cals. So as long as I take out the bazookas, I should be able to deal with this now. And this is what I mean, because I'm sending his attention to here and here. Maybe he's not been able to micro it as perfectly as he'd like. His push back in the middle on this town has been successful. My fighter coming in to try and maybe support the Stern Pioneers in the forest. But there's just so much AA in the form of these 50 cals and the Bofors that it's not going to be too effective. Back to 12-12, I've lost pretty much half my tickets, so I'm in a rough spot points wise, but I think I have traded okay. I know I have access to a lot of armour still with this with the deck I've built here. Lots of Panzers still. Well, I may be running out of Panzers at this point, but still lots of Panthers, lots of Tiger E's. This is a risky push. Always risky to be pushing light cover when you don't know what's on the other side. Really, I should be waiting, and I'm sure I'm going to pay the price. Straight into the trap here. Yep. The bazooka. Bang. Waste of 75 points, whatever it is. I should have just been patient, let the infantry push up and scout it out, but alas. Looks like I've managed to take control of this forest once again. The Stern Pioneer have been really clutch so far. In the same way that my opponent pushed really effectively in the early stages using flamethrowers. These Stern Pioneers are basically just larger flamethrower groups. They're 6 men strong. They have the smoke as well, 5 MP40s and a flamethrower. So really strong unit up close. This Panther is going to try and take out the half tracks in the infantry. He does have an M5 gun here, which is going to be capable of penning that, and it's not too far. So fortunately, I'm just out of visual of it here, but I'm sure he can move this and he'll be able to get a sight. So I do have to be a little bit careful. Got Battery Führer in as well to try and buff these guys up. I think if I push up just a little bit more, I'll be able to take out this Bofors as well. Our push on the south looks like it's been a success. Combination of the Stug, the Panzer 38 and the Sturmgruppe, been able to chew up the what was in these light forest. I think I noticed this bazooka when the Sturmgruppe was pinned down. That kill on the M8 is going to free up the suppression, but I need to back this out now. This bazooka is so close to being able to fire. So I don't know, maybe I haven't spied it yet, hence why I'm just carrying on. But his attention is obviously elsewhere on the map. Otherwise, he would literally just attack order. This Stug, and it would be a toast. So all very tense there. Now 11-13. The balance has swayed in my favour, mainly because I've taken this flag and this flag. Still this one here, which is being held by the units around here, I suppose. So need to try and get something into this forest and try and retake that, because that's an easy flag to take. The Panther's engaging against 3 of these M4A3s. they're not really going to be able to pen it. But 3 of them there, you know, they will eventually take it down if there's 3 of them firing. But Panther, I would have my money on to win the fight, even at this range. 1 goes down. Looks like I'm now starting to fire on this Bofors as well. I'm charging forward whilst his attention is fixed on the stern group, but that's going to go down. So that's a nice kill. Getting rid of some of the AA in this central area. We've got 1 tank down. 2 tanks down. The Panther's doing absolute work for me right now. I think I tried another bombing run up here to try and free up a bit of space in this forest, but once again, too many half tracks to make a fighter bombing run really effective. So very well played from my opponent here. It looks like he's just put 50 cals on pretty much everything. Like you know, even these little jeeps, trucks, you know, they're not armored, but they do have a 50 cal, and that's, you know, it's 10 points more. But since the buff, that's, you know, they're an effective choice now. You know, you don't have to bring all that much AA if you've got dozens and dozens of 50 cals dotted around the battlefield. On the north side, I've got my Stug in position here, pretty much replacing the Pack 43 Gerlich, and one up here as well. So he's not going to be able to make any plays and push across this bridge or further along here. I've got this pretty well locked down. He's going to have to push across into this patch of forest before we can sweep across. So happy with my position up here. It's mainly this central area where the majority of the fighting is. Got my Stug firing on. I think it's shooting at the yeah, this M5 gun. I don't know what the range of this thing is. Oh, it does have a 2 kilometer range on the APCR shells, which it has 3 left. So do have to be a little bit careful. That thing is going to be able to annihilate this Stug. I got my Panzer 38 here. I think I've just got this on a fast move order. I just wanted to bomb up here and maybe catch out the units that are up here. You know, I wanted to see if there were mortars, if there were any AA. This thing, you know, might be able to do some damage and take him out. The Stug trading looks like it's doing really well. Again, I've 2-star vetted my Stugs just to make them a bit more accurate, and it's paying off. Winning a fight against an M5 gun that was in heavy cover. You know, that's a pretty good achievement, I'd say, from the Stug. So good stuff there. The use of the Panzer 38 and the Stug helping me clear out this south side a little bit, so maybe starting to get a foothold. There's only 1 flag here, so I need to bring a few more infantry to back it up. You can see across the battlefield I've got these SDKFZ 251-21s, the ones with the 315mm HE shells, or machine guns. I was hoping that, you know, if there were any AA, much like the 50 cals, or if there were any aircraft, they'd be able to deal with it, but they've not really had any use so far, and they're not cheap either. 30 points, so it's tough, really. It's tough. I could try and push them against my opponent's infantry and stuff, but they are going to get absolutely annihilated by the likes of the M5 guns. I don't know, they may even go down to the 50 cals, because they're not very heavily armoured as well, so bit of a tricky one. I was bringing these in mainly with the MGs, the 2-star veterancy. If you bring MGs with 2-star vet, any carrier that you bring them on also gets that veterancy, so it is worth doing. You spend 65 points and you get 2 units that 2-star vet, and they're pretty strong. So going to be effective there. I think in hindsight, I maybe could have used one of these Panzer 38s and you know, I didn't have any recon on this deck, or any recon infantry anyway, so I needed to use my Panzer 38s as, you know, offensive close infantry support and recon, which I didn't really do a whole lot of, bar sort of on this north side. I should have really put 1 in here, maybe 1 in here, and 1 here, just to help me spot anything in the forest and any units in the towns as well. So hindsight's a beautiful thing. We live, we learn. My push up on the south side has gone pretty much exactly how I'd hoped. Taken out a mortar, cleared up a couple of half tracks. The M5 gun has gone down as well. He does have this unit of infantry in the town, which I didn't actually know about, but I could see that the front line was shifting, so I kind of assumed that there was something in there. so I'm not going to push this Panzer 38 too close. But for now, doing what he did to me on the north, just managing to hold this southern flag with a half track. So for a 5-point unit, no 10-point unit, sorry, holding a flag, you can't complain. Because I managed to take out some of the AT, it's allowed me to reinforce into this forest as well. So we've got some Sturmgruppe moving in, got some Flammenwerfers. That bomber, I think, just took out a half track there. So managing to, be a little bit more effective with my fighters now. Once again, I think I just lost out one of my units of infantry because I maybe wasn't pushing them all together. I do have this one unit of Panzergrenz. Obviously, I don't know, bazookas don't affect the front line, so I have no idea that those are behind me, otherwise I just turn around, clear those up. But more infantry coming into the southern side and almost being able to gain me that flag now, so not a bad position. I'm bombing this Stug forward as well. I was hoping I could maybe cut off this reinforcement line. So we'll have to see how that goes on, but my opponent, reading the threat, brings out these M10A1 destroyers. 75 points, 2-kilometer range in the APCR, and an MG, which a lot of these AT tank destroyers don't actually have. So yeah, relatively strong unit, and I think they're 50% accuracy on the APCR. They're pretty accurate too. Taking out one of my Panzer 38s, which isn't ideal. But the key thing here is that I've forced him to invest money on this southern side. If he wants to regain this flag, he has to spend the points. I'm going to lose out this Stug by the looks of things. It's getting flanked by these 2 destroyers, but it's given me the time to make the push in the middle. I've got a Guerrilla up here as well, which is going to start being able to shoot down on things that pop into its visual. The push is going well. Stug does go down, but this Pack 40 hopefully is going to regain from its earlier spanking from the infantry that pushed up here and try and shoot at anything coming down the hill. So we're in a better spot now. Still 11 to 13. Looks like we're going for another push on the town in the middle. He's got a lot more infantry in there this time. 2, 3, 5 units of armed rifles. Going up against my Sturmgruppe. These ones do have the MG. Obviously they're not Sturm Pioneers, so they're probably not going to be as effective as clearing out the town, so we'll remains to be seen how effective this is going to be. But I am holding the forest, and this flag here. Got a Guerrilla in place, got mortars, Pack 40s, so I've got a nice line. Got this Panzer over here in this forest. I was a little bit disappointed by this Panzer. I was hoping that it would be able to, looking at this sight line, you'd be able to snipe anything coming across that bridge pretty easily, but I don't think it was very successful in doing so. Maybe it wasn't enough of a sight line for it to be effective. But the Sturmgruppe making a good push. I do have the mortars this time, which are going to start suppressing some of these rifles. Although that shot dropped a little bit short there, which is worrying. He's just about holding the flag still, so I need to push these Sturmgruppe up just a little bit more before they're going to be paying off the investment. Investing more armour down on the south as well. This Guerrilla, what's this one shooting at? I think it's shooting back here at these half tracks coming on in. Or just lost sight of that one as it moved into the forest. That half track, these Sturmgruppe, the ones with the MGs, they do only have the anti-tank grenades, which are 100-meter range, as opposed to the, is it the 160 or the 120 on the Panzerfaust? So probably going to lose out there to the 50 cal half track. Stug against 2 M10A1 destroyers. Yep, not trading ideally. They're around about the same price. I think a Stug is 85, but 2 of those doing the work. This Guerrilla now firing on them, but I think they're just going to shoot straight back and yep, take it out as well. So he's getting good value from these M10s down here, and it doesn't look like I've managed to get the flag yet either. Meanwhile, at least I do have the push down here, which has been successful. My Panzer IV did go down. I think it was to this M4 across here. I don't know how I managed to get a visual, but somehow I did. Or maybe it was this one. He's got some units in... Well, he's been forced to take them out of their half tracks because of this Stug, I assume. And it's now given me time to move my own infantry up and try and hold this flag for a bit longer. Another bombing run coming in, but he's got too many half tracks. Even the 50 cals on this M10 are actually acting as AA, so they're not going to be too effective at actually, you know, taking the Focke-Wulfs out of the sky, but just preventing their bombing run. You know, that's good enough value as it is. Finally, this flag down here, we do have a couple units of Panzer Grenadiers and a Panzer 38T, which is somehow in line of that M5 gun. So I hope I need to spot this is getting fired on and move it further across here, because it's going to go down otherwise, as it does. But the key thing is the infantry pinned down. They're going to surrender if I push a little bit further forward, and that's going to give me the flag. He does still have all these mortars here though, although two of them have completely run out of shells. And it doesn't look like he's brought along any support trucks either, so I've got that to my advantage, I suppose. I think by this point, both of us are starting to run maybe a little bit low on infantry, particularly the Spearhead division. They don't have access to that many cards of infantry. That's why we're probably going to start seeing a lot more of MGs, tank destroyers, and really relying on these half tracks to make the pushes for him. Having said that, I don't have all that much access to infantry either. I've only really brought, I think, one card of sea-based infantry. So he's just bombing forward here with this truck, this 50 cal truck, which should go down to just light arms fire, but because he's pinned them down with the mortars, with the 50 cal, they're really going to struggle, so I need to back these guys out. It's a good play from my opponent, to be honest, to pin them down and make the most of a 10-point unit, which to potentially surrender a 30-point unit. It's really good play. So I've got to deal with this thing, this truck, before it does surrender my infantry. He's even gone as far as to smoke off this supporting one. These are only in the light cover. This is the heavy cover back here. So ideally, I want this unit to be back here. It is now falling back, so hopefully we can deal with that somehow. Got a Tiger E coming onto the field. That's going to get set up in this middle area to try and support. And here we go. I've actually brought a Focke-Wulf targeting this truck. And, you know, it's a 500 kilo bomb. It's a little bit overkill, but it needed to be done. I didn't have anything that could take out that that truck at that point, so, you know, it's it will come back in within a few minutes. I'll be able to go for another bombing run, so I'd say that's worth it. And we are now down to a double tick on my opponent. We've flipped this over, nearly caught up in terms of ticket balance to an 8 to 16. He's got 9 minutes to turn this around. We are now holding the flag here in the south, this one here, or these two in the middle, the forest, the town. Really now it's just this one flag here, which it's going to be very difficult for me to take this one, simply because, you know, you've got a lot watching on from here, tanks at the back here, and a lot of, you've got to cross a bridge or a river, very open ground, so going to be tough to push this one. But I'm perfectly happy just to sit on my 16 to 8 lead at this point. Got a Tiger E down here as well, to offer a bit of armoured support. He's really investing heavily now to regain the southern side. These armoured rifles going up against these Sturmgruppe. Going to trade well, these Sturmgruppe. I really rate these units. One of the best things about this GrossDeutschland battle group is the infantry it has access to. I feel like if I was playing this fight against Wergo with Panzerverband or the Nordland, the Panzer Grenadier Nordland, I would really be struggling at this point, simply because the infantry aren't as good. I'd be relying on the likes of Pioneers and pretty much solely on Panzer Grenadiers as well to do the damage. And in forests like this, when we're both pretty much running low on flamethrower units, Sturmgruppe going to do really well. But right now, he's just got the numbers, and he is making a successful push. I've got mortars of my own firing down to try and suppress and give me an edge. My Tiger looks like it's moved back to try and shoot on anything coming down the hill. Tigers, of course, kept their 2-kilometer range, so a decent unit now. Strong heavy tank. All I've got to watch out for really are these M10A1 destroyers. They're going to be all that he brings on. Interesting to see he's not brought any jumbos. I think a jumbo would really have helped him, you know, particularly in this middle area. Even though, well, we might be about to see my Tiger, well, I suppose it is taking on an M5 gun and 2 M10s, but this probably isn't what I would call an ideal engagement for these things. You know, fighting one-on-one. But I had to move the Tiger back there because it was in range of the M5 gun. I didn't want to take the risk of being shot on by 3 of these, are they all 76 mils? Yeah, 3 at 76 mil cannons. Going to be very risky. I'm pretty lucky so far to have not been penned and destroyed. If I'm able to take out this M10A1 destroyer, I consider myself fortunate with this Tiger E, but I guess you get what you pay for. That shot's going miles wide. Does it have a sight damaged? I wasn't sure. That would probably explain why they're shooting a bit cross-eyed. But recognising the danger, I've got Panther A. This is sort of sat in reserve. This Stug is now in a really good position to fire on anything coming across the bridge. It's further back here. He's got 2 more of these M10A1 destroyers. This Panther needs to move up here if it wants to support this Stug, because it's starting to get a little bit peppered. See there, that Focke-Wulf being suppressed pretty much solely by the 50 cals. It does have the Bofors, but I think it was falling back even before the Bofors started shooting, so the Stug's gone down. This Panther needs to get up here and start shooting. I think it can get a good visual, yeah, about here down the road, so that's going to be a good spot for it. Still got a nice hold. 5 minutes left on the clock before it's going to be GG. The Tiger goes down because he's just really bringing in a lot of these M10A1 destroyers now. They're going to be his best answer to my heavy tanks, which are pretty much all the sole armor I have at this point. I do still have access to these Panzer 38Ts, but the difficult thing with them is the range of them. 750 meters. You do have to get them close to make them effective, and with so many bazookas on the field, it's a little bit risky. It's pretty tough. Those mortars is pinning down the infantry, but probably not going to get the kill. My opponent's been pretty successful down here on the south. He's regained this flag. This battery Führer is in a tough spot. He's bombing forward with these 50 cal half tracks, although does have to be careful of the Tiger, of course. Still got a couple of Sturmgruppe in here, but I need more infantry to try and regain this. Well, I'm still holding the flag, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose out on it pretty soon. Panther firing on the M10s. It does have 2-star veterancy. I made a point to bring these in phase B with the 2-star veterancy, just to give them the accuracy. If you're going as far as to invest in a 150 point unit like a Panther with 2-kilometer range, in my mind it does make sense to buff it up and make sure you're getting really good value out of it, because whilst it's great to get the numbers, it's ultimately the kills that are going to win you the fights, and when it has the veterancy, it's going to win more fights. So we got one M10 down. I think he's thinking twice now about trying to take it on. I'm amazed it doesn't have visual on the second one, but apparently not at the moment. He's going for another push into the middle with these armed rifles, but this is the trouble with the third armoured. The infantry, they just don't have access to that much close range infantry. Apart from the flamethrowers and your engineers, which it looks like he used in pretty much solely in phase A. They just don't have that much to try and dislodge my own infantry. So, but because of the weight of numbers, that's the nice kill from that Sturm group there, taking out a half track with the infantry still inside. One unit of the Sturm group has gone down, and with all this suppression, I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes down as well. I think I need to get my mortars firing, although they have run out. This Grilla hasn't fired all that many shots. Maybe I should have moved it back here to try and shoot down the road somewhere. Maybe it could support it, but hasn't really done that much so far. Pack 40 firing off against the M10s. This is pretty much what I want. You know, they don't have the best HE, these things, so firing up against an M10 in a Pack 40 in heavy cover, I should be able to do the job. Get the fullback. If I can now switch over and start engaging on this one, we're going to be in a good spot. Just getting the bounce there. Rough. Still 8-6 though, or 8-16 even. I'm just about holding this flag here with this one unit of Sturm group. It looks like the push hasn't completely failed, but he's only got one unit of armed rifles still supporting. I'm going to move this Sturm group out of the forest to try and back him up, because I do recognise I'm a bit light. This M10 not going to be too much of a threat with its HE shells. 1.4 damage. You know, I should be able to get across there pretty comfortably. Once again, these poor SDKFZ 251 21s just haven't really done anything this whole game. I think I might go back to this deck and switch it up a little bit. I'm pretty sure you can get the half tracks with the AP cannons on the front, which in hindsight would be really effective against my opponent's jeeps and half tracks. I'm pushing forward this Panzerschreck to get the kill, but these 50 cows are chewing it up, pinning it down. Not going to get the kill. Maybe potentially naive of me to think I could do that against these M10 destroyers. But those 50 cows are really paying off for it. Without those, both of those probably would be toast. 2 minutes left on the clock for Wergo, and he's brought it back to a 10-14, so it's not a double tick anymore. I think because he's managed to take this flag in the centre just about. I don't really have units to support. The infantry look like they did go down somehow. I'm going to push this half track up to see if I can regain the flag, which I do, and that pushes it back to a double tick, so he's got less than a minute to go. MG just suppressing the units. I think right now I'm resorting to bombing these M10s. They are open top, of course, so yeah, they're weak on the top, of course. So and this one's really been pretty messed up. So a couple of good bombs, maybe even some mortars would take them out. But I think my opponent is now starting to recognise the severity of the situation for him. He's regained the flag on the south. Got a lot here to prevent me from pushing up as well. It's getting very close. He could turn this quite easily, but I'm doing just about enough to hold it, and it keeps on changing between 9-16, 9-15, and 10-14. But 40 seconds to go. He's throwing everything he can at me right now. I had to back off this MG just because it was getting absolutely annihilated. "20 seconds left on the clock." Another nice play. My opponent's used smoke really well throughout this fight. He's preventing my Panther A from being able to fire down the road. Looks like he's trying to rush forward his half tracks to take the flags, but it's not going to be enough, and it's going to be GG. So really well played to Wergo. It was a hell of a close game. 3795 kills to 3260, so I suppose that's fair. Looks like he may have got a bit of friendly fire there by the looks of things. Maybe some of his own mortars were hitting his own men or something, but either way, that's the game. GG, well played.